Well, good evening, YouTube. This is Chuck, and it's Friday, May 16th, about 6:30 in the evening, and I'm out here in the van, and I got Squatchy here helping me. I got some updates and a pretty interesting comment on one of my videos that I'm going to read to you. But first of all, let me give you the updates. This will be a Bigfoot video, in case you're wondering. And I know some of you have been sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for me to tell you some stuff. And I've got some stuff in the hopper that's not quite ready to be released to the public yet. And but these are some updates and some stuff that happened. And let me start off first and tell you about my recent trip to Silver City. And Silver City's right at the base of the Gila Mountains, and there's a couple of huge wilderness areas there. And I'm sure that it's very, very well populated with forest people. But I was there 5 days before I got my first tingle. And I had a brief conversation with a male named Henrico. And I can't remember exactly what age he told me he was. I want to say mid to late 30s. But I had a brief conversation with him. And basically, I asked him if he lived nearby, and he said he did. And so I don't know what nearby means to them, but I also asked him if he had a mate and children, and he said yes, he had a mate, and he had 3 children. Well, that was interesting. And then one of the other things I asked him if he had contact with humans before, and he told me yes, he had. So I'm not the first human that he's ever had mind-speak contact with, and so I thought that was pretty interesting. And like all of them, he didn't stay around very long. And interestingly enough, he didn't come back the rest of my nights there. I was there 7 nights. And so anyway, that's all I got to report for my Silver City trip. Next thing I want to tell you about is the progress that's happening with my friend up in Utah. And as you know, he doesn't want his name used, and so that's why I call him that. But he's been having some pretty remarkable stuff happen. If you recall some of my several videos back, I talked about that he has a teacher, and his teacher's name is Roheen. And Roheen's a 45-year-old male who actually lives in California. But he's a teacher, and he agreed to take both my friend in Utah and me as well as students. Well, I haven't heard too much from him. He's checked in a few times. I haven't really had a lot of contact with him. I've been a little bit disappointed with that. But my friend up there, he has almost every morning, Roheen will check in with him, and they'll do a little quick lesson. And the lessons have gotten kind of really off the charts there. And one of the things he's been doing is he's been kind of playing, we talked before about visuals, and some of the visuals are actually play like little mind movies, where it shows you like it's showing you a video. Well, he's been doing that. Roheen's been doing that with my friend, and he's been showing him different things. And 3 of them I'd like to share with you. And the first one was, and this happened a few days ago, all of a sudden it was like my friend was in the middle of a big city. And he thinks it was New York City, but he's not 100% sure. He didn't recognize anything there, absolutely. But he said they were roughly 10 feet off the ground. And the interesting thing about that is, besides seeing and visualizing and seeing the sea of people, he said he could actually feel and hear and smell. And he could feel the air, and hear the hustle and bustle of the big city. And he said a bus drove by, and he could actually smell the diesel exhaust on the bus. That's pretty remarkable. Well, then a couple days later, and this happens first thing in the morning, usually, before my friend gets up pretty early and he goes to work. But between the time he gets up and the time he goes to work, he has these little lessons. Well, a few days later, Roheen showed up again, and this time he took him and showed him something completely different. He said they were out in the edge of the prairie somewhere, and he said there was a Conestoga wagon that went by. And he said what was interesting there is he said they were close enough that he could not only see the wagon, and he could see that it was not a new wagon. It was old and weathered, and the spokes on the wheels were cracked. And one of the axles needed grease. It was squeaking. And he could hear the harnesses on the horses rustling. And he could feel the sun. And he could smell the dust. So he's got all these senses. Well, this was obviously a long time ago, and Rohin's 45, so Rohin obviously didn't see this himself. So he asked Rohin about that. He said, "What, is this a shared memory from one of your relatives?" "Yes." So they can share their memories back and forth between each other, apparently, is what's going on there. And so they shared it with Rohin, and Rohin shared it with my friend. He said it was absolutely realistic, like he was there. When you can feel and smell and hear and all this kind of stuff. Well, then the last one I'll tell you about from him was just this morning. And this morning, Rohin showed up, and the lesson this morning was he took my friend along with his family, Rohin's family, for a walk in the woods. And he said it was very, very peaceful and zen-like, and Rohin allowed him to listen to his family members' thoughts. And he says it was a kind of a jumble. He couldn't pick up a lot, but he picked up a few things here and there. But he said everybody was kind of walking in, he called it like a state of zen, and even the juveniles. And everybody was just like being in the moment. And they allowed him to share that. And once again, that's pretty remarkable. So so that's the second incident. The third thing I want to share with you is a comment that was left on one of my videos. Now, this isn't one of my older videos. It was shot 2 years ago. Now, if you've watched my Bigfoot Stuff number 1 through Bigfoot Stuff number 10 series, this comment was made on Bigfoot Stuff number 2. And so you can go and find it and read it, because it was left as a comment. And I'm going to read it to you, and I think I'm going to have to take my glasses off to do that. Now, this gentleman has his name is apparently John, and he has a YouTube channel called Wild Humans. And since it has to do with the forest people, of course, and then Squatchy here, he decided he wanted to help me. So I picked him up off the floor where I found him the other day, and I decided to let him be here with me. So let me read you this. I'm going to read you exactly how it's stated, and I'll tell you these are his words and not mine. And it's hard for me to get my arm back around here to get to where I've got the mouse. Now I got to find the mouse. Oh, there we go. All right. Let me see if I can get this started. I'm going to bring the mouse back over here on my leg, and maybe I can do this from here. Yeah, I think I can. Okay, let me read this to you. Good talk, Chuck. Sasquatch are a real flesh and blood people, but some can operate within spirit. They have a spoken language, but can mind speak. Some Sasquatch can read your innermost thoughts and affect your dreams. Shadows that think, the heart of the wild beats through them. Sasquatch embody the virtues of the god of war. They possess unyielding strength, courage, and resilience, forged in the heart of the wilderness. They also hold a depth of wisdom, the capacity for compassion, and an understanding of the surreptitious faculties of man. That's a mouthful. These tribes are animists who balance knowledge and intuition. They acknowledge the conscious and subconscious perspectives. These are a people who gently embrace the material and immaterial, the real and unreal. They still recognize the dependable harmony between the subjective and objective aspects of reality. They are a people who still believe in the gentle cradling of head and heart, the use of logic and intuition, the practice of mindfulness in an unconscious world. Stan Gooch, British psychologist and researcher, suggests that Neanderthals were not brutish creatures, but rather creatures of a sophisticated, psychically charged, magical culture. What if this high civilization of dreams isn't just a relic of the past? What if there are still beings alive today that possess the same psychic abilities and magical practices as the Neanderthals? Sasquatch are said to possess telepathic abilities, walk through dreams, and astral project. Could it be that the Sasquatch is a living, breathing embodiment of the Neanderthals' high civilization of dreams? Do you think there's any validity to this idea? Could Sasquatch hold similarities with the Neanderthals' supposed magical culture? Sasquatch are guardians of the unseen, guides on forgotten paths, teachers of timeless wisdom. Sasquatch can guide individuals through their journey of self-discovery, much like a deity in a traditional religious context. I am privileged to know a few Sasquatch by name, and they know mine. I had a Sasquatch share telepathic words with me in meditation in 2018. I understand in today's world, this seems psychotic at best and diabolical at worst, but I can assure you I'm not making this up or trying to fool anyone. Here are a few things he said. I am here. We need your help. Sasquatch might not survive the Anthropocene extinction. We want you to be an ambassador and share what you know about us with your people. To be a great man, you must be a good boy first. Keep your thoughts pure and true. Pray, meditate, eat good food, drink good water, wake up early, work your body, wash your clothes by hand. Here's the next one I kind of like. John, stop smoking. Stay humble, calm, and focused. Stay kind. Star people watch you. Your people will soon know us. Help others understand we are like you. Write, speak, sing with your heart. Show dedication. You will do great things for your people. Make it right. Life will test you. There are two things in this world, love and purpose. Stay strong, shine, we love you. Additionally, some information about Sasquatch and their culture was shared, including the fact Sasquatch don't like guns and don't like when humans burn the forest. He also said, we are not Nephilim, we don't eat humans, female Sasquatch move territory, males stay in the same area. There are about 40,000 Sasquatch in North America. Now, I differ with that one because I think there's a whole lot more than that. I think there's a lot of them. We use lithography. Well, they do. They leave the ground glyphs, the stick glyphs, and all kinds of marking like that. And I guess that's lithography. Patty is still alive. And I've heard that as well, that the Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film that was shot way back there in 1967, that she was about 90 years old at the time, and that her name is actually Enrith, and that she's still alive and well and still lives over there. Sit quite often. The key is breath. The Sasquatch also explained how to meditate. I call it the breath of light meditation. You want to close your eyes and breathe from your nose. Visualize white light and imagine breathing in that luminescence into your body. See yourself shining. You want to belly breathe, diaphragmatic breathing, very, very slowly. Aim for 30-second inhales and 30-second exhales. In that luminous state, you can shine that light to a specific part of your body for healing. Visualize your aura growing brightly for protection, or shine the light to a person you put in focus, cultivating a deeper connection. The telepathic voice also spoke of acting in love and light in every thought and action, help ascend to higher levels of awareness. There was much more shared, like personal and spiritual messages. He shared a few things about Sasquatch culture. He also spoke about the existence of positive and negative star people, the possibility of spirit intrusion, the destruction of Earth because of Anthropocene extinction, lost chapters, and I'm not sure I pronounced that right, lost chapters in human history, and the future dangers of transhumanism. Sasquatch also said to use a high level of discernment in life and study, feel the truth with your heart and soul. He introduced himself as Elder Camo. Well, there's a book out that's called Sasquatch, A Message to Humanity. And it's the knowledge of an elder named Elder Camo. And I think that's probably an odd enough name or unusual enough name that's probably the same individual. And if you can look that up, it's on Amazon. It's written by a guy named Sunray Truebrother. And I read it here a while back, and he's also an associate of Koani Lapsidaris. So if you're familiar with him, he's an old Squatcher from way back. And when he first came out with some of this stuff, everybody absolutely assigned him to the wacky bin. And I was one of them. Since then, I've learned that the majority of what he says is true. Good luck on your journey. Now, the majority of what he says, these are his words, not mine. I just read it to you. And the majority of what he said, I have come to believe that as well. It's my understanding as well. There's a few discrepancies in there, but for the most part, I think he's pretty much spot on. And now, as I said, this was written as a comment to a video that I made 2 years ago. And I know a lot more now than I knew then. And so if I was to make that same video now, I would probably phrase some things a little bit differently. So, John, if you watch this, I appreciate the comment. Maybe if you can send me your contact information sometime, maybe we can talk on the phone. I think that would be most interesting. I thought that was interesting enough and unique enough to read it to you and share it with you. So I think with that, I'm going to wrap this one up. I haven't put up a Bigfoot video for a while, and I know some of you are really interested in wanting to hear some. So that's two updates and a comment. And take it for what you will. Like I said before, those are his words and not mine. I just read it right there off my laptop for you. As you can see, Squatchy was helping me. So let me tell you, as I always do, take care of each other and love each other and be grateful for what you have and show gratitude. There's a lot of people that are in much worse shape than you are. And so until I talk to you again, I've got some other ones in the hopper that I'm working on. So until I talk to you again, I guess nothing more to do than just tell you peace out.